Last night, the world watched as the skies over Israel lit up with warning sirens and fiery streaks. For hours, families in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and beyond huddled in shelters as Iran unleashed a massive retaliatory strike. Over 150 ballistic missiles hurtled toward Israel's largest cities. This was not just another exchange in the long-running shadow war between these two rivals. This was escalation on a scale not seen in decades, a direct, high-stakes confrontation that brought the Middle East to the brink of wider war. The immediate trigger? Just hours before, Israel had executed a sweeping air campaign, codenamed Rising Lion. In a coordinated operation, Israeli jets struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear infrastructure, Natanz, Fordo, Isfahan, sites long suspected to be central to Iran's nuclear ambitions. The strikes reportedly killed several top Iranian generals and nuclear scientists, inflicting a blow aimed not just at facilities, but at the leadership driving Iran's nuclear program. In Tehran, the response was swift and uncompromising. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei declared that Israel would pay a heavy price, setting the stage for the night that followed. As news of the Iranian missile barrage broke, air raid sirens echoed through the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. In a matter of minutes, the lives of millions were upended. Parents waking their children, families rushing into stairwells and reinforced rooms, phones buzzing with alerts from Israel's home front command. The missiles, launched in two massive waves, targeted key population centers and military installations. The attack was meant to overwhelm Israeli defenses, testing the limits of a system that has, over the past decade, become synonymous with survival in the face of rocket and missile threats. The Iron Dome. Iron Dome, Israel's iconic missile defense system, has been the subject of fascination and skepticism since its debut. Designed originally to intercept short-range rockets, like those frequently fired from Gaza or southern Lebanon, it uses radar to detect incoming projectiles and launches Tamir interceptors to destroy them mid-air. In the past, Iron Dome has boasted success rates often above 90% when facing salvos of relatively crude, low-flying rockets. But this was different. Iran's missiles traveled farther, faster, and with far deadlier payloads than anything Iron Dome was built to counter. So how did the system perform under such unprecedented pressure? According to Israeli military sources, Iron Dome batteries were repositioned in anticipation of the attack, blanketing the skies over high-density cities. As the first wave of Iranian missiles appeared on radar, Iron Dome sprang into action, launching interceptors in rapid succession. The system, however, was only the first line of defense for longer-range, high-velocity ballistic missiles, many of which Iran used last night. Israel relied on its Arrow and David's sling systems, both developed with significant American technology and funding. The Arrow system, specifically designed to target ballistic missiles at high altitudes, played a crucial role in intercepting some of the heaviest threats. David's sling, another advanced system, filled the gap between Iron Dome and Arrow, targeting missiles with ranges of several hundred kilometers. The result? The vast majority of incoming threats were destroyed before reaching their targets. But missile defense is never perfect. Several missiles slipped through, striking residential buildings and infrastructure in Tel Aviv and the outskirts of Jerusalem. The Israeli government confirmed at least 3 fatalities and dozens injured, a stark reminder that even the best technology cannot guarantee absolute protection. Behind the scenes, American military assets were active as well. U.S. forces in the region, equipped with advanced radar and missile tracking systems, provided real-time intelligence and interception support. American warships in the Mediterranean coordinated with Israeli command centers, launching their own interceptors in some instances. This level of coordination underscored the depth of the U.S.-Israel defense alliance, forged over decades and tested repeatedly in crisis. But it also reignited an old debate, especially in Washington and across the American public. As images of the missile attacks dominated global news, questions resurfaced. Should the United States continue to pour billions into Middle Eastern defense? Is it America's responsibility to guarantee Israel's security, especially as domestic needs, healthcare, infrastructure, education, loom large at home? In Congress, a new generation of lawmakers called for greater oversight, some pushing for conditional aid or even sanctions aimed at forcing diplomatic solutions. Others, citing the brutality of the attack and America's long-standing commitments, argued that abandoning Israel now would send a dangerous message to adversaries worldwide. The ripple effects of the night's violence reached far beyond the borders of Israel and Iran. Global oil markets, already jittery from months of tension, spiked sharply as traders feared further disruptions to Persian Gulf exports. Energy prices climbed, putting pressure on economies still recovering from previous shocks. In capitals from Brussels to Beijing, leaders scrambled to assess whether this exchange marked the opening shots of a much wider conflict, one that could draw in regional powers, destabilize fragile alliances, and reshape the global order. For many Israelis, last night's events evoked memories of previous crises, the missile duels of 2024, the rocket wars with Hamas and Hezbollah. But seasoned observers note a crucial difference. This was the first time Iran and Israel faced off with full-scale ballistic missile attacks, rather than the proxy wars and covert operations that have defined their rivalry for years. The rules of engagement have changed, and the consequences are still unfolding. As dawn broke over Tel Aviv, the city's battered but resilient population emerged from shelters to assess the damage. For families who survived the night, there was relief, but also a growing sense of uncertainty about what comes next. Was this the beginning of a new era of total war, or a horrifying but contained episode that will give way to diplomacy? As the world debates its response, one thing is clear. The events of June 13th have changed the calculus for leaders in Tehran, Jerusalem, and Washington alike. Missile defense, once seen as a technological marvel, has become a lifeline, but also a flashpoint for hard questions about security, sovereignty, and the cost of perpetual conflict. Now the choice lies before us all. Should the United States continue its unwavering support for Israel's missile shield, investing billions more in military technology and regional alliances? Or is it time to push harder for diplomatic solutions before another night like this sets the region ablaze? The answer, as always, will shape not just the fate of the Middle East, but the future of global security. So, what do you think? Is America's support for Israel's missile defense justified, or is it time for a new approach? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for daily real-world breakdowns and in-depth analysis.